There it is. What is up, Tennessee? All right. Today's episode, Tennessee Titans on Dynasty Pylon. My name is Martin. We're going to talk about the offense, the defense, some Dynasty rosters, and how they'll prevail on this upcoming season. With this entire division making moves left and right, it's going to be a tough one. We'll see. As we talk about the Tennessee Titans today on Dynasty Pylon. Let's get it. What is up? Good morning, good day, good afternoon, wherever you are at. What is up, Derpy, in the chat? Will the mighty Will Levis make the Titans competitive, or will they get hurt again? That's a good question. We'll talk about that. I have some thoughts and feelings. If you have been familiar with this channel, you already know how I feel about Will Levis. We'll get to that. But Tennessee, what can I say? Has been falling short of what they would want. Let's see, 2002 they had 7-10. Let's almost there, but not quite. Kind of sucks. And then that last year they went 6-11. Things seem to be okay with draft wise. Seem to be getting everything okay. Last year was a big surprise trading, 2 years ago was it 22 got rid of AJ Brown. And then brought in Treylon Burks, which made a huge, crazy, disappointment because he kind of turned out not to be like him as of now. And I don't think that it's going to happen. Dynasty-wise, again, it's just I think you have to bite the bullet and just get rid of him. Maybe you can trade him away for something, a low-key, low ball, or a cherry on top of something. Maybe he'll be there, but the moves that the Titans made in the offseason clearly identifies that they don't believe in him, or he's not good enough to carry them as a receiver for what they thought he should have been. He's no AJ Brown. AJ Brown is AJ Brown, and there's no compare. He's just a huge tank who's fast and gets things done. Good for Philadelphia. Unfortunate for Tennessee Titans. It is what it is. Moving on. So after going 6-11 last year, and again twice in a row, just basically almost same records. They didn't make playoffs last season. Kind of sucks. Fired Mike Vrabel, which good, I guess. It's a new change. I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just a new change. So everything's kind of different, right? New faces kind of changes the perspectives of things. So they brought in the former coach from the Bengals, Brian Callahan. So he should be taking over as, and then with Will Levis there as, they took him in the second, which is crazy. Will Levis was there. And the reason they took him there, I just he was just, you come up to he was just available. He was just there at the second round. So you couldn't just pass it up, right? So it's just a lot of things were going on in that draft that we just kept seeing him fall. And I'm like, that's more like it. That's what I expected. I said it way before they even drafted him. He's not that good because those quarterbacks at the time last year, they weren't that great. It wasn't that great towards the back end. It was like two of them that were good, and that's pretty much it. So again, Will Levis is going to be the guy. And with the backups of, we all remember Malik Willis, right? So and then they also brought in Mason Rudolph, who formerly was Pittsburgh Steeler, who is probably, he's just a good backup. I don't expect him to come in here and take over. It looks like I do believe it's going to be Will Levis the entire time. I don't see him coming in and just hey, step aside, kid, let me do this. No, it's not going to be any of that. But here's for the losses of Tennessee. They lost Derrick Henry, went to the Ravens. Chris Moore also left to the Cardinals. And then Fulton and Sean Murphy-Bunting, both corners from both sides, gone. Fulton to the Chargers, and then Sean Murphy-Bunting to the Cardinals. One of the biggest ones that I felt like was also another big loss was Azeez Al-Shaair. Very good linebacker on the defensive side. He's probably going to be really good on defense for the Texans. Low key IDP, I think he's going to be very good there in his new home. So good luck for him. Unfortunately for us here at Tennessee, it's not going to look so hot. But we did make some moves, not entirely like bad. Like we weren't the Cowboys and just sat there. Okay, so it wasn't entirely detrimental with the moves on the offseason. This is going to be, I believe, Ryan Carthen's second year as GM, who's kind of like the vice president, I guess, right now. So, coming in with the 7th overall pick, making some moves. It's going to be interesting what they're going to do. So, what they did in the offseason before the draft, they brought in Tony Pollard. Awesome. Didn't do as well, as much as a lot of people would have thought and would have hoped. I kind of saw that the guy needs another bruiser with him. He can't carry it all by himself. So I don't know what the Cowboys were thinking by letting go of their main bruiser and then having Tony Pollard there all by himself. He just cannot do it. I've watched him for years, and it just seems like he gets gassed after like 7 carries, 13 carries, the max in a game, and then he just can't do the whole 4 quarters. He needs another running back with him, and there's running backs like them. So what does Tony Pollard bring to this offense? Well, he's no different from Tajay Spears. It's the same guy. One's older, one's younger, but they're both pass catchers. They got good speed, and they can make things happen. I think it's basically having the same guy back there, in my opinion. I think it's going to be good. It's going to be very productive. The only thing is I'm a little worried if they can both stay healthy. Obviously, with that addition, their third guy is Hassan Haskins and Chestnut, who I was high on Hassan Haskins when he first got in 2 years ago. He played really good with Michigan. Unfortunately, that's not the case. He's just a return guy. So and same with Chestnut. So it is what it is. I don't know if they're gonna try and bring somebody else. I just don't think they can. Just due to like availability. I mean, they have cap space. They're gonna have cap space. They have enough. They have, I think, 25 million, so which is enough to bring in anybody else off the free agency market. And off free agency, I don't even think there's like a whole lot going on running back wise. Because damn, yeah, I don't think there's any running backs really that are kind of available besides Cam Akers, Matt Breida, Kareem Hunt, maybe. But again, Latavius Murray, like these aren't names that are gonna like, oh yeah, we definitely need to bring this guy in. Maybe Kareem Hunt, like it. But again, it's nothing that is going to like help elevate this team to the next level. There's no superstar sitting there waiting to get picked up. It's just detrimental. So, but Tony Pollard, very good asset, I think, with the addition with Tajay Spears. I think the run game should be good. So that was at least running back. A wide receiver, and this is why I said earlier, Treylon Burks might be done in your dynasty leagues. Obviously, with Hopkins there, they brought in Calvin Ridley. I think Calvin Ridley came in with like a 3-year deal. What was it? 3 years? No, Tony Pollard's was a 3-year deal, 24 million. Calvin Ridley's was a 4-year, 92 million. So with the 50 million guarantee. So both these guys are going to be for the Titans for the next 3 years, at least minimum. Definitely with Tony Pollard 3 years and Calvin Ridley for 4. What does this say? Treylon Burks just didn't pan out. They're not going to exercise his 5th year. More than likely, he's going to end up on another team. Maybe he ends up somewhere else where they could utilize him, and maybe he can shine there. Like if he ends up in the Cardinals, maybe that's probably a good spot for him because they're hurting at receiver. Like talent wise, I don't think he's good. Maybe Michael Wilson and him can compete. I don't know. That's just my guess. But Treylon Burks, I don't think he's going to be a Titan. They're probably not going to exercise his 5th year. He's pretty much out the door. But that's what that move made. And then bringing in Tyler Boyd as well from Cincinnati. So that's the 1, 2, and 3. Shoves Burks to the 4th slot. And Westbrook is also sitting there with Kyle Phillips, who Kyle Phillips actually had a pretty decent year in his rookie year ahead of Treylon Burks when he was down. So again, and I'm suffering from this in my dynasty league. I used the 1st round on Treylon Burks in the 108, and it sucks. it is what it is. Um, but again, Tyler Boyd coming in, awesome, good addition. I mentioned Mason Rudolph, who's going to be a quarterback there, good backup. I think he'll bring in some good pointers, but I don't think he's going to overtake the job anytime soon. Awuzie, a corner off the Bengals as well, so they brought in Boyd and Awuzie from Cincinnati, so good additional there. And then L'Jarius Sneed as well, so they got rid of they couldn't sign the other guys, but they also brought in other corners as well to replace the talent. But the talent level overall for the four guys, like the two that they got rid of, is just like one really good one and one kind of below average guy. So, and the other two were just good. So I'd rather have what they just had last year. Unfortunately, we'll see what happens. Maybe L'Jarius Sneed, they just don't throw his way, and then now the defense can focus on the other side. Additionally to the defense, they also brought in Sebastian Joseph Day, who I believe is really good asset here. He learned a lot from Aaron Donald for the last couple of years. And then he went to the 49ers, did some big moves there as well. But now he's a Tennessee Titan. And Sebastian Joseph Day, he's one of my favorite low-key defensive linemen. As for Dynasty, he could be their waivers. It wouldn't surprise me if he becomes like a waiver priority here week 2, week 3. We'll see. I mean, injuries happen. It is what it is. The other addition here is kind of interesting to me. And this guy, as a linebacker, came out of the Chargers. Didn't really like splash anything that I really liked about him when he was with the Chargers. He came in high prospect. He was supposed to be really, really good. That's Kenneth Murray. I'm not wasting anything until I see how he does here. He's supposed to probably start next to Gibbons. But then I also think Cedric Gray might end up being like the starter here. But then it's just I hope that this elevates his game because he's gonna have to start. And he's capable of doing it. In college, he was great. Chargers, he was just kind of there. He had some good moments. I think like 1 year he had a pretty decent year above overall average, but he'll make some splashes. I think with this defense, the fact that they lost everyone, he might actually look good. And if the offense can't produce, these guys are going to be on the field a lot. And for IDP purposes, he might actually be good. I know OTAs are running. Some guys didn't show up. I know Harold didn't freaking show up. So I'm not too worried. These guys are probably just, taking. They're gonna get fined. Like more than likely, they're gonna get fined. It is what it is. But again, this defense could do some splash plays. Could be good. So we'll see. I'm just a little bit worried about how this new offense is going to click and how well they can move the stakes, really, overall. So moving on from who they brought in, let's talk about these rookies that they just brought in from the draft, which I liked what they did. It wasn't bad. They addressed the line, which was a big need. JC Latham obviously was the best one there. Probably to their opinion. So I think JC Latham he's pretty good. And then Sweat it's a good defensive tackle that they brought in for both sides. So they addressed the line on both sides of the ball. Cedric Gray, I just mentioned, probably end up being starter right away because of the loss of Azeez Al-Shaair. So that's some big shoes to fill. Either him or Kenneth Murray will probably end up stepping in, taking over. Again, IDP wise, they could pop off, but we're gonna have to see. You could probably draft them in your later rounds if you're doing a startup IDP, or even in your waivers if you already had started one. Maybe he's probably sitting there right there. Probably third or fourth round, maybe trade if you really need desperate. They're gonna be on the field a lot. Then you get Javaris Brownlee out of Louisville, corner, and Jaquan Jackson, receiver, and safety James Williams out of Miami, and then Jaron Harrell Edge out of Michigan. So Jalen Harrell, not too bad. I watched a little bit of his tape, and I like him. Getting him in the 7th round could be good, but I just don't think he's going to play right away. Definitely, you're gonna Tavondre Sweat's going to be the guy there at nose, right next to Jeffrey Simmons. So uh, let's see what he does eventually as he progresses here. He could get cut for all we know. The 7th round guys typically, Jalen Hale is he's a pretty good asset, but again, I don't know if he's going to make he's going to make the team. So, but there's your rookies for the Tennessee Titans. This team could be in a detrimental of pain, of hurt. I just kind of wish they had better asset depth wise. Let's look at this as we pop in the depth chart. Will Levis, his weapons are going to be Chigaquanko. We liked him his rookie year. He did pretty good. Last year kind of like fell off the wagon a little bit, but I think it's going to be just fine with the addition of Hopkins, Calvin Ridley, and Tyler Boyd. These 3 weapons are all new. Like, they're not new to the league. Obviously, they've been around. They're all veterans. We know their style, but they're new to Will Levis and Tony Pollard also. So it's like your same okay, decent QB. Well, in my opinion, you already how I feel about him. But you're giving him a whole new offense, a brand new left tackle. Peter Skoronski's there. Lloyd Cushenberry's there. And then Daniel Brunskill, who's also a very good line. Like, this team can do something, but the issue is they don't have any secondary after these starters. After the backups, Jesus, it's a bunch of fans. So I just want to say, like, I'm a little worried that the quarterback itself is not going to be enough to get them over the hill. These weapons they're bringing in for him, they believe in Will Levis. Awesome. I just don't think he's going to be the guy to get them all the wins that they need. I don't think he's going to be talented enough to get them the wins that they need in order to surpass this division. They are now in a tough division with Rich and Stroud amongst their team, like amongst that division. Like, it's a good division, and it might be one of the toughest ones because they're all very young. They're all very good, and they're all growing together. And we already know with that division being in all growing together, all very young, it's not going to be easy for these guys at all. So we can see what the Jaguars are doing with T-Law. Of course, it hasn't really panned out as well either for them, but they are kind of getting better. They did make playoffs 2 years ago, which was a big surprise, and they beat the Chargers. So they're not out of the realm of like entirely in bad shambles as much as the Titans. And we saw what the Texans are doing, and we saw what the Colts are doing. This division is going to be tough, and I have a feeling that the Titans are struggling to catch up to these teams. But all these moves with Kenneth Murray and Awuzie and Sebastian Joseph Day, with Tony Pollard and Calvin Ridley, these are moves that are good. They're good moves. They're going to bring value, and they're going to bring good talent to these other guys. They could teach them a thing or two. The issue is, how long are they going to stay? Can they stay healthy? That's it's all health, guys. But overall, I think what's going to happen is they can turn some heads. They're not out of the realm of like completely losing. But again, if they do lose all their games, like majority of their games, they can go get themselves Carson Beck. I think Will Levis is the issue here, but again, that's just how I feel about it. I don't think he's going to be the guy to get him over these wins. Carson Beck's coming in next year, and they could probably grab him in like the top 5 rounds. And when I say that's also not a good thing for the season. Why? Because we haven't even started yet, and then I'm already predicting that they're going to be in the top 5 rounds. So that's just, it is what it is. Derpy coming in here. First he says 9 and 8, then he gave me a week by week base, and then he changed it to 8 and 9. All right, so I'll have your thing up. We are going to do the schedule up next. But for the did I show the I did. Hold on. Did I show this? So yeah, for offensive wise, Dynasty, obviously Hopkins is probably on someone's roster. Calvin Ridley is probably on someone's roster. If they're offering a trade for them, Calvin Ridley probably I still valued as a second to a third. Why? Because he just signed a 4-year deal. I know he's aging, but again, not so much tread is on there because he had 2 years where he didn't play. So there's that. Tyler Wood, good asset. I'm not banking on Will Levis to make this team the winning factor. If he can get it to any of these three guys and even Nwankwo, awesome. I just don't think he's the guy. So there could be a trade later on. I don't know. Maybe they get somebody else who isn't really the starter there, i.e. Fields or somebody like that, maybe. But a lot of it, I think, is going to be ran off Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears. A lot. So we'll see. As for defense, so Tony Pollard, Tajay Spears, yeah, I'm going after Tajay Spears. You might have to trade, a good first for, second. Like, I know it's a running back, but running back's kind of scarce right now, so we didn't have very many come in the league anyways. So Tony Pollard, I'm not giving more than a third. I just don't feel like he's going to last that long, if that makes sense. I don't think that him coming here is going to give us Tony Pollard of 2 years ago. It's going to be close, but I don't think it's going to be happening multiple. I think that they go after a running back next year somewhere in their draft, and who knows, Tony Pollard might be just old and busted by that point. So they add a lot of weapons. I'll give them that. Yeah, exactly. Derpy, and you're not wrong. But their defense always finds a way to get hurt. And that is, and you're absolutely right, Derpy. They just kind of fall apart. So that's why I'm a little scared for this team. But if that's what happens, that's what happens. Paul has a complete different O-line. That is true. And I would say this O-line is good if they can stay healthy. But once the starters are hurt, the talent gap is huge. Like, the talent gap between the starters and the backups is huge. So, but you're not wrong. It's a different line, but it's also a different QB. Tony Pollard, being the pass catcher that he is, can Levis handle the pressure and just dump it off to him? I don't know. I don't believe in it. I don't, and I try to. I just can't. He has an arm, I get it, but his decision making is just bizarre to me, and that's always been my problem for him. So that's what I think. So Sebastian Joseph Day comes in. He's probably going to starter. Sweat's going to be right next to him. Jeffrey Simmons and Harold Landry. Beautiful line. I can't ask for another one. The Giants, I talked about the Giants in the last episode. Also very, very good. This line is also good as well. But I'm still gonna give it to the Giants just over and then I'll probably put these guys second under these guys. And Kenneth Murray, I hope he does a better job here than he did with the Chargers. He stepped in, he was a first rounder there, didn't really do much there. So I'm hoping that if he can, maybe it was the wrong shade of blue. I don't know. Whatever it was, this one is your team. He's gonna have to carry the guys with Cedric Gray. Both him are gonna end up being the main key linebackers there with Gibbons. So it is what it is. I'm not saying that this front seven's excellent, but they're good. This front seven can't stop the run. I believe that this front seven is going to help them a lot, getting these few edges for the offense to click. But again, if the offense can't click and they're not working together with Will Levis, I don't know how far they're going to get. I don't think that's going to be good enough, especially with this division. If everything that's happening in this division, it's quite the journey. And I think I said that at the beginning of the episode. L'Jarius Sneed coming in, awesome. McGarry, good, and then Molden and Hooker. Like, these guys, Monty Hooker can be really good, but then sometimes he just disappears. So, um, yeah. So let's see. I do like. So Derpy says I do like Cedric Gray pick. Yeah, no, and last year he came in. He didn't really get that playing because Aziz Al-Shir was there. So now that he's gone, um, Cedric Gray he's gonna have to step up. So we'll see. But I think he has the capability. I did like him last year coming in. He was or not last year, but Cedric Gray coming in this year. He was one of my top 5 linebackers. We did rookie breakdowns. He was one of them that we brought up. So, kind of happy for him. He should be making an impact right away. For IDP, I'll take a stab at this guy. I'll definitely take a stab at this guy in a dynasty roster. Definitely use not a first or second, maybe a late second to early third on him, if depending on how your IDP format is. I know for mine, I wouldn't mind taking a late second, early third for Cedric Gray, if these other top linebackers are gone. But I think Cedric Gray can make it an instant impact on this defense, and it all depends. Him and Kenneth Murray are gonna have to be. Kenneth Murray is gonna be the biggest gamble here. So, but overall, let's jump to the schedule and see what we got. So Derpy gave me his at 9-8. Awesome. 9-8, you say? Is that what you say? 9-8? That's a lot. Or 8-9. 8-9. So you said, so Derpy gave me week 1 win, week 2 win, week 3 loss, week 4 loss, week 5 win, week 6 loss. Okay. So loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win. I see a lot of W's, man. You must believe in this team, because I don't think I do. Not as much as you do. So you think they're going to beat the Bears, okay? I think they're going to lose to the Bears. You think they're going to beat the Jets? I think they're going to lose to the Jets. Lost to Green Bay. I think they also lose to the Green Bay as well. I'll agree with you there. Week 4, I think they lose to the Dolphins. Yes. I think this team starts 0-4. Then they have an early bye week, which is not looking too good. Early bye weeks mean that you have the rest of the season to stay healthy without having a week there of rest. Your body gets banged up. I don't know. And then you got week 6 with the Colts and the Bills. And it's in the Colts. I think, I'm gonna give them, because they had the bye week. I'm gonna give them that one. I think the Colts somehow just slip or something, and they just like trip over themselves, and these guys sneak with the win. I think what's gonna happen, I think they get the bye weeks. They get to study a little bit more. Also with the Colts having we play the week before coming in, I think I'm gonna give them the win here. I think their first win is gonna be week 6. They're gonna lose again to the Bills, lose again to the Lions. And you got the Chargers week 10. I think that's gonna be another loss. Vikings should be interesting. That could be another loss. What are we at? 3 right now? 1. No, I have 1, right? So far 1. Oh my gosh. Washington could be the second one. Jaguars can be a third one. And week 18, I think the Texans are going to be so good they don't even put their starters in, and they get their 4th or 5th win. Is that 4 or 5? That 4 or 5 for me. Hang on. So I said week 1 or first win, week 6 Colts. Oh, I skipped the Patriots. My bad. I had your comment about it. I didn't even see it. Let's see. And then I said their second win could be Washington, maybe split with the Jags. I think week 18 Texans are going to be so good that they're just not going to start their players that week, and they're going to have that's their 4th win. And maybe week 9. Let's go back to week 9. I think maybe that's going to be their 5th win, but I'm going to say 4. It's going to be it's going to be a struggle. There's not a lot of depth behind here. I think they'll beat the Vikings because they lost Cousins. And you're not wrong, Derpy. You're not wrong. Now I'm looking at that, and that could be a 5. But then I'm looking at the Patriots as well. But some teams I got to be a little bit more harder than the other ones. So, are you still leaving at 8 and 9, Derpy? Because I'm giving them 4. I'm giving them 4. New coaches, new staff. Everything's the entire offense is new. But the talent's not gone. Like, it's there. It's might be upgraded. But I'm just worried on how they're going to actually connect. So if Derpy, if you're leaving at 8 and 9 with my 4, this team gets rounded to 6. If you're leaving it at 8 and 9, let me pull up the our fancy sheet here that we have. So if you're listening, we have on YouTube, we have our playoff brackets. We kind of like make a preemptive prediction with chat, and then we kind of go from there. Let me show you what we have here, and then we just add it to our end of the year playoffs before the actual playoffs start. Oh crap, that's not what I want. That's definitely not what I want. There we go. All right, so I got the Titans over here off to the right. If you're leaving it at what you're saying, Derpy, and that's a bold. Now, guys, if you guys disagree, make it into these episodes. You guys got to make it into the episodes. Give me your guys' prediction. That way, it's not as crazy. I'm giving them 4. Derpy's giving them 8. So what does this mean? We're rounding it off to 6. If you guys make it into these episodes, give me your guys' records. We can average them out. Because 6 to me is high for this team. I just don't think that they're no, that's not what we want. I just don't think that they can stay healthy enough. Should we make that red? No. Jesus. Okay. No, 6 of the way. All right. So 6 wins for Titans. I think 4. Derpy gave me the argument of 8. Yeah, give it. No, yeah. Between the average between my 4 and your 8, Derpy, we'll leave it at 6. So it is what it is. One of the shorter episodes. Why? Because again, this team, they brought in talent overall. What do I at the end of the episode? I give them my overall ground. This team has potential. I just don't think this is the year. And a lot of it has to do with Will Levis. I know you guys got him in the second round. I don't think he was. I think he should have been pushed back even more. I said this last year. If you watch our Will Levis episode, I blatantly said he sucks. Like, I did not hold back. I said he sucks. But I get it. I understand. Maybe he could prove me wrong. And then I will be the idiot. It's fine. He has an arm. But what worries me about him is his decision making. So we're going to give the Titans a 6. Derp says they lost their star, but have potential. Yeah, but Henry, and that's for years they've had Henry there for just carrying them. This is going to be their first year without Henry. They're not going to have this guy who just runs the entire time. If they didn't lose Henry, I'd put them back at 10. Oh, dude, no way. If they had Henry, I don't know about that. I don't know. I'll give them 7, 6. And then with your 10, then we probably would have been at 8. We'll be sitting at 8 with your 10 and my 7, maybe 8, 8.5 probably, or 6. But yeah, guys, we'll be doing these every team tomorrow. I'll be doing the Falcons in the morning, and then we'll have our Wednesday night shenanigans as we do. We probably do mock drafts during those episodes. So if you're listening, if you want to like jump in on those mock drafts, jump in on YouTube. It's where we kind of like, and you can see our ugly faces. So again, tomorrow morning at some point, lunch hour, I don't know, we'll do the Falcons. And then towards later evening, probably towards the night on the East Coast, some of you guys will do our Wednesday night shenanigans with Brian, myself, and Mark. Hopefully we're all there. If not, me and Brian will be there for sure. So guys, that is it. Titans, like I said, it's going to be an interesting year. And accept the fact, bite the bullet. If you guys do better than 5 wins, you guys end up in a higher draft board, I just have a feeling that it's not going to be the greatest years that you guys wanted. And I have a feeling that you guys are probably going to have to go after a quarterback. And next year's quarterbacks, I hate to say this, I don't know if they're going to be any better than Will Levis. Carson Beck, Sanders, and Ewers are probably can compete. If you put Will Levis in there, Will Levis is probably better than them. So quarterback wise, I don't know. There are going to be some quarterbacks next year that are available. Maybe you guys can make moves for that. But again, for Titans' sake, at least you have Pollard and Calvin Ridley for multiple years. If you guys swap out for quarterbacks and make your guys make a move there and make a trade there, awesome. I mean, you guys can trade your next year's first for a above average quarterback who might be ready to retire, something like that. But again, as for this year, 6 wins, and that's only because Derpy was being nice. Because I gave you a 4. I have like, thank you, Rasta. What's up, man? 5. Let's go back to it. Good stuff. Well, thank you. So Rasta came in just before the episode ended. Let's pull that up. Let's pull that back up. With Derpy's 8 and my 4 and Rasta's 5. That shoves it down to what? 5.5, I think. Let me see. Let me math here, guys. But I think that's a 5.5. So my 4 plus Derpy's 8 plus Rasta's 5. Oops. I think we are sitting at. Hang on. Holy crap. What'd I get? 5. Yeah, 5. That's 5.5. So I was right. That's 5.5. Telling you, Derpy, I don't think they're going to be as good as you think they are. Derrick Henry, like it's a big detrimental loss for them. So we're going to lower it to 5.5. So it goes from 6 to 5.5. Got to get in on these guys. Got to get in on these. If you don't like some of these, start making the shows and giving your us, because at the end of the year we're going to make that big giant playoff prediction. So here's what we have so far. The Bears at 9, the Commanders at 6, which is chat kind of gave them high props. I wanted to go lower, but here they are. New York Giants 5, Cardinals 6.5, the Patriots at 4, and the Titans at 5.5, and the Chargers at 8.5. At the end of the summer, we will have every team. We'll do all the episodes. We're gonna make our playoff bracket. Yeah, and the OLINE. I know. They've made moves. I get it. Like overall, with Peter Skoronski, Cushenberry, Daniel Brunskill, and JC Latham. It's not. It's okay. Kind of. I just thought Skoronski would be like he was a first round from last year, right? Still learning the ropes. Okay. Then they brought in Cushenberry out of Denver. And Brunskill, out of San Francisco. You know the guy. You're a Niners fan. And hopefully JC Latham is going to be the main. Like, if they're, and here's what I said. I've said this before. If you're banking if you're putting all of it on the rookie's shoulders, that's not good. There's something broken here. They're putting JC Latham at the left tackle, and he's going to be their number one O-line. There is a problem when you do that. If your entire roster is depending on this one rookie, JC Latham, you better be as good as we all hope you are. Because if not, this team is going to fall apart. And let's just hope Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears are just as good as one another and make that 1-2 hit. That's all I got to say. 5.5, guys. All right, guys. Again, tomorrow morning during your lunch hours, I'm going to try and make it for the Falcons episode. And then later in the afternoon, we will be doing our Wednesday Nation again. So, yeah. We got 2 episodes today and 2 episodes tomorrow. Who knows? Maybe I'll just keep this as a trend and do 2 a day. I don't know. So, anyways, guys, thanks for watching this. Tennessee Titans here on Dynasty Pylon. Tomorrow we're going to do the Falcons. Again, here is the roster that we have going on for the next couple days, weeks. Again, things will change. I will change it. If I don't go on, that's just because something happened or I'm not feeling it. Something's going on. But here's what our schedule is. So it is what it is. All right, guys. Take it easy, and thanks for coming in. Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever the hell you guys are at. I will see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.
Getting hype when I aim up, elevating that game up, stepping up to the competition. Only first place, yeah, that's how I'm living. I'm winning till they digging up my grave, eating all the things up on my plate. Game face when I step up into place. I was born and when I watched me elevate.